We're having Joseph Agunbiade, the CEO of University, to discuss some issues of the bordering on the tech scene in Nigeria. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
The technology scene in Nigeria has seen some disappointing results with the acquisition of Konga and the shutdown of Go My Way. Is the digital space in Nigeria non-viable?
Let me give you a direct answer to that. I think it is viable. However, there are two sides to the problem. The first problem which I see is that most tech companies in Nigeria wants to run a Silicon Valley model. So you come into Nigeria and then you want to spend a whole lot of money, forgetting that first of all, this money is not even coming from here. Most people who have raised in excess of $1 million, you oftentimes raise it from outside the shores of Nigeria. So you bring that money in and then you want to spend a whole lot to run the system. And so I'll talk about Konga, and I'll use that as a similitude to describe the e-commerce scene. You see, e-commerce is not anything new in itself. It's basically adding innovation to existing model of trading, which is basically buying and selling. I want to buy this product and I want to deliver to my home. All right. And then you are now providing an electronic means through which that can be done, to get that business done. And the very first fault as an individual that I would say I saw with Konga was the fact that Konga came in and hired massive engineers. Meanwhile, they were using existing pre-built tools like Magento. Now, one single person can build a system, an e-commerce solution, and integrate payment gateway without the need of all the over 200 engineers around they had at some point. The biggest job, the biggest engineering job they had, challenge was the server management. Because you can imagine the amount of traffic that they will get per time coming on that system, where I think they can have, a very modest team, like 10, 20 team, rather than that massive number of students. When you do that, you and I know that running business in this country is really tough by itself. You think about cost of power, the people themselves and all of that. Then you now add a problem of overhead, salaries. 30 days is so fast, And so when you do that, you burn out. Your burnout rate will be very high. All right. You can't do business with the hope of what you make in the future. You look at the market size and say, if I can just reach this percentage of the people, then I will have so much money. So for me, I see that is the biggest challenge, one of the first challenge that they had. All they needed to do was just focus on the business, get the product to the people, create customer satisfaction. Most of the complaints, people will complain that they've been trying to reach customer service or they ordered a particular item and they got the wrong item and all of that. I feel if the manpower they had was more on creating customer satisfaction rather than technology, which they focused on, their success would have been much more than this. In Nigeria,
they are a technology firm. Are you saying fundamentally they are not a technology firm? They are just using technology to enable an existing process?
Okay, thank you for that question. Now, the way I look at it is different. You see, when you say you're a technology firm with such number of staff, are you creating the problem you're solving is there's a market. What is the need of the market? All right. The need of the market is you want to bring the product closer to the people. You want people to be able to order and get it. So you have to think about it. The problem you are solving. Is it an engineering problem? So if you say you're a technology company, do the people really need a technology company, or they just need an innovative company that can actually solve their problem? And so at the end of the day, the biggest challenge we will always face is you're trying to solve a problem your own way, not what the people need. It must be the people's first. Build your business based on the need and not based on what you think people need.
Does this portend evil for Jumia and Udala? Udala has just splurged a lot of money on Konga. Do you think it's a market problem? Are we really a digital? Do we have that digital market?
Digital, we need to understand digital. Digital is not anything, it's just a tool. Technology is a tool that is meant to help existing processes that we have. So we need to understand the place in all of these things. The core is the trading. Udala, I can guarantee you, is going to be a very successful company. Already they've shown that promise by acquiring Konga. When you look at them, they understand the way Nigeria works.
But they're acquiring the problems of Konga as well.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of companies acquire problems that had, problem in the past. And by the ingenuity of the leader, they were able to turn things around very well. And when you look at Udala, look at their strategy. Udala understands something, which I think Konga did not understand. Konga set up pickup centers. Udala set up shops, real shops, closer to the people. So this is it. Udala is famous. As they get popular, the way Konga was popular. What they do is they understand that Nigerians want to see what they are buying. And so they can quickly walk into a shop, not far from them, and then they can pick up what they want to buy. Even though they have looked at it online and all of that, a Nigerian will likely buy. That's why we buy. We spend a lot in traffic, So you are likely to buy. So when you go to the shop, they understand that this is an Igbo man, all right? They've been trading. They have that. They've mastered that act. So you understand that when you come to the shop and you don't see that particular item, and you say you want it, the guy in the shop will just tell you, "Don't worry, I'll get it by tomorrow morning. Just pay half. I will guarantee that you get it tomorrow." And you see, in business, there's no guarantee that is better than collecting money upfront. Taking part payment. You are sure this person will definitely come back for this product. So they've created that system that works traditionally with our own culture. This is our lifestyle. So they've understood it. So I can assure you that in the years to come, Udala is going to be a huge success, more than we anticipate.
Many tech talents are eager to leave the shores of Nigeria immediately they are skilled enough. I know you run one of such outfits that trains them as well. But is this not the same brain drain that we saw with the doctors? And how do you think we can stop it? How do you think we can actually have developers that will stay in Nigeria, build Nigerian products, right, and profit from it?
Well, the bad news is that more doctors are still leaving, and they're still going to leave. All right. The developers we're training, as a matter of fact, most of them, when they come to our training school, they tell us that they want to learn these skills so that they can go and work abroad. So you see a medical doctor, we've trained medical doctors, we've trained people who used to work in oil and gas. Currently, we have 2 of those in major oil and gas company coming to get trained in their old age. And I believe that they are probably trying to relocate. You see, it is very simple. Nobody comes to this life to come and, just suffer and die. Everyone wants a better life. So when you come, their hard-earned money from the hustling, on Lagos Street, they bring it to our school, they pay and get trained. And of course, they have to look for, ROI, a better ROI by moving out of Nigeria.
So it's still going to be the same
thing.
So
it's going to be the same thing. The only thing that we have seen in recent times is that as we have more talent, more companies are coming in. But I worry because some of these companies are still burning out. Even though you hire and you try to pay high salary, and the time it takes you to even make that money is so slow. The factors limiting companies to, operation, business, the business climate especially is very terrible, all right, in the country. At the end of the day, businesses that are hiring, okay, look at Konga. Imagine Konga hired I believe they had over direct employment of over 400 people. Federal state government gets personal income tax from these people. They were creating, and not only that, they were inspiring people in the country. They were inspiring new businesses to start. They would say, if Konga can do it, then I can do it. Meaning that as new businesses start, salary is being paid. There's personal income tax that is being paid. The state wasn't smart enough to see this as a big opportunity for growth in the state to ensure that that never happened, that Konga should not fold up. You see, the implication is that the states, recently Lagos State is doing so well with LSCTF, and, with the smart person, Agunbiade is there, is doing very well. But you see, they are losing out on many fronts, and sometimes it's some investment they do, and I see it's partial investment that they do. They don't get to complete some of these things. So at the end of the day, these people leave and go to other markets. So if the government wake up early enough to see that businesses must not die. How will a taxman come to your office and ask you why you've not paid your personal income tax? And you're still trying to explain that you have not even paid that salary, the month salary. And all they just want is for you to pay your personal income tax. But the business must be able to even pay salary first, must be able to make money first to pay salaries. So some of these things, we need to bring it to the table. Let's not say because we want to develop the state, want to hit certain threshold in terms of our state GDP and all of that. When business starts, all right, like I said, LSTTF is doing that. They are training people. So they give you money, they train you, all right. Oftentimes, if you have a technology person starting a business, it needs business education. It needs the right business person to train and guide him on how to run business. In some cases, they need to even inject, say, we're going to take this cost. For the next 3 months or 6 months, we are bringing a business expert into your business to help you run the business for this period. And with that, you will be able to take off on a good note. I'm not saying they should come later. That might be too late. But if they identify that, how many businesses do we have in this state? How many of them needs help? How many of them actually have potential? It all comes down to creating the right business climate that helps the market to thrive. You must identify the challenge your ecosystem or your market have, and then give the right support early enough before the business crumbles.
The Secretary General of the Federation had spent 65 million on maintaining a website. What are your thoughts on this? This is a basic website because we saw the picture of the website. It had no revenue generation or collection function. Okay. The basic, the requirements were actually to just serve information mostly.
Okay.
Right. So it was a basic website.
Okay. So for a basic website, I think it's really ridiculous. It's a lot of money to be paid for maintenance. And but sometimes also we need to know who is this that is even doing the job in the first place. Sometimes they patronize foreign developers, and who sometimes will tell you that it is the rate in their country. That is one. Secondly, they talk about things like servers. They talk about and bill ridiculous amount for some of those things, which they end up paying for. I've seen a situation where even a private company paid that much, all right, and the reason was because they didn't know, So what I would recommend in a case like that is that companies that have IT thing, they need to, in their hiring, they really need to do themselves a lot of good by ensuring that they have the right people in their team. Most of these things, imagine a company that has over 20 people in an IT team and you are still having to outsource maintenance for such a high rate. Let maintenance be that you're paying the tech company for, something is, a fee that is, reasonable. A fee that is reasonable.
What's reasonable to you?
Reasonable is relative. It depends on the size of the project.
What do you charge?
There's no fixed cost for development.
What have you charged in the past for a basic website?
For a basic website, like I said, it varies. There's no standard market price. One of the things that we do is we need to review our labor law. All right. So I can price myself hourly. I can say I'm going to spend, if I spend an hour on this project, you're going to pay me 50,000 naira per hour I spent on this project. And then we can cost it by the amount of hour I'm going to spend on that. And that can easily be tracked and measured. But those are systems that don't exist. And if you're not careful, if you try to bring a standard pricing to this thing, you run into trouble where you give a fixed cost after negotiation, then you get into the project, and the project is not exactly what the person told you that you're going to be doing. And so to solve the problem, let me try and answer your question. To solve the problem, I think that the IT team in these organizations needs to be well trained. The fact that somebody read computer science does not mean that it's a good software developer. They need proper training, real training. I'm not talking of training because of ESTA codes, which is what is happening today in most of the government agencies. These people need to be trained. These people need to be tested by independent testers, and ensure that the right people are working for the agencies. So that way we can save a lot of cost. That is one. Secondly, when a project is to be outsourced, all right, there's an idea called open contracting, which we've been pushing. All right. If open contracting is implemented, when a project is about to be given out, the price is listed there. The portfolio is listed there. The people that want to bid come and bid, and we can see their portfolio and the amount they are bidding for. At the end of the day, with a very clear and a merit-based system, you can actually make a selection, which will, of course, save the country a lot of cost than we are burning at this moment.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. You've shed so much light into all these areas we needed clarity. We hope that when we invite you another time, you would oblige us by coming.
Yes, thank you so much.